Good afternoon, adventurers. Yes, it is Friday. Thus, it is time for John's Dungeon Corner right here at the Collective in Altamont Springs, Florida, where it's a nice sunny 86 to 90 degrees. You never know. It depends on what side of the street you're standing on. Just like a lot of things. Anyway, so here we go. Got some really neat stuff. A surprise sneak peek at a game that's going to be coming out in December, just in time for Christmas. A Dungeons and Dragons Christmas. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so, hey, just a reminder, everybody, you can send your questions, comments, suggestions to johnsdc2021@gmail.com. I got it written right up here. So in case you miss it, it's right there. I'm going to let it sit there all show long. Oh, yeah, that's right. So you can check it out right behind the dice, because you know what dice are all about, right? I ain't got to tell you. And then, of course, this neat little today, I decided to bring out the dragon sitting on the stack of books. It's a nice little dice box. And happy Friday, Sarah. And the cool thing is it will protect your dice while you're not looking. And it's got a cool little skull and some really neat coins. It just looks really nice. That's the front side. The back side. I've shown these before, but, you know, with Christmas fast approaching, we blink an eye. It's January. Blink an eye again. Oh, look, it's Christmas. we're not that far off. September's almost gone, and here we go again. So it's time to definitely start looking at Christmas gifts and start checking people off on your list that, you know, and for those that do not want to play Dungeons and Dragons, do not play Dungeons and Dragons, do not need any more dice, although that's such a thing is unheard of. No, don't need any more dice. There's a lot of other things here, miniatures, and books, and board games, and comic books, and CCGs, collectible card games, and all kinds of wonderful things that you can gift. And you know what? Worst case scenario, just come by, pick them up a nice little gift card. They're good, and at any time, and they can come in whenever it's easier for them and just pick out what they like. They'll love you more if they get what they want, you know? And sometimes, oh, and one other thing. Hey, I'm going to give you a little heads up, too, since it's not quite Christmas yet. The Collective will let you put together a nice Christmas list. So all of you who are listening, who don't want to end up with a ugly sweater or a tie that you'll never wear, okay, or who are tired of getting socks and underwear for Christmas, come by, put together a list, and leave it here. And as people come in and they buy stuff, they just cross it off. Ah, cool, right? You can walk around the store, make your own little shopping list. What? I do it. I do it for my birthday. In fact, I have a standing list sometimes. And I should put one back up because everything on my other list has been bought. So leave a standing list if somebody just wants to buy you something just out of the blue. Hey, why not? So there you have it. Okay, Christmas lists, gift lists. Okay, so let's talk about what's coming out before Christmas. Next month, in October, around the 19th, we are getting in an order of all the Spelljammer figurines. Hey, brother, how you doing? I'm watching you. Yeah, you are. Get those eyes off me. Yeah, so on the 19th, on or about around the 19th, because you never know with shipping, we'll be getting a whole line of the Spelljammer figurines. So that is going to be kind of cool. You know, for all of you who have got into Spelljammer or are thinking of getting into Spelljammer and Figs, let me tell you something cool about Figs. Figs work in every single campaign setting. Okay, so when new Figs come out, you got to come and check them out. If nothing else, you just got to come and look at them and see how you're going to fit them into your campaign. Aha! Talking about Spelljammer, I wanted to show you the character folders. Now, I've shown you the ones that are dedicated, the dedicated fighter and monk and magic wizard and so on and so forth, Barbarian Ranger. These character folios are really cool. These are based on, of course, the Spelljammer. Look at that. Very nice. The colors, very astral looking. Here's the back. I'm not going to take it out of the packaging because, well, the picture's cool enough. Look at that. And they're the same exact as the others. You know, you can put spell cards in here. You can put your character sheets in here. But they're just amazing. They just came out. You know, they have that whole Spelljammer theme. And then, of course, my favorite, which I purchased, Minsk and Boo riding an astral something or the other, some kind of astral fish through the cosmos, as only Minsk and Boo can do. If you know Minsk and Boo, you know they're the only duo that can do crazy stuff like that. Oh my gosh. It is just the best. But anyway, those are really nice. And hey, let me tell you something. For all you purple and blue fans and the pink, heck, you can't get better colors than that. All swirled together. Really nice artwork, of course. So those are really neat. Come and get those while they last, because remember, sometimes when things are gone, it takes a while to get them back in. Even if you buy it now and give it to them later. Okay? It's always a good idea. There's no reason for buying something when it's available. You know, when I point that I like to make with that is when I had on the show, I had brought the dice towers had just come in. The Reaper sitting on his throne, dice tower, and then the Amethyst Dragon sitting on the dice tower. Put them out here. My brother saw one, really liked it, so I bought one that day. And they had already sold one. That was the second one. The third one's gone. I don't think we have any more here, do we, Brendan?
Amethyst Dragon?
The Amethyst Dragon dice tower?
Oh, I got more coming.
He's got them coming. See? But here's the funny thing. The last one was sold a little bit ago. It takes a while for this stuff to come in. So like I say, when you see something, come and get it, put it away, mark it off your list somewhere in your phone, on a tablet, wherever, in your computer, in your back pocket, and have it ready. So when that day comes, whether it's a birthday or an anniversary, you know, gifts are good just to give on any given day. All right? So, but Christmas is right around the corner. I'm telling you, start your shopping now. So that's what we do. I put out a message every year. Hey, birthdays are coming up. Christmas is coming up. Let's get some lists out there so people can start, you know, getting stuff together now. So we don't have to wait till the last second and then, oh my gosh, things start running out, right? All right. So with all that being said, now let me tell you about something really neat now this is not coming out till about early December, okay? It's a Dungeons and Dragons. It's called Onslaught. That's what you see this box right over here. It's got some miniatures. I'm going to walk up there and I'm going to kind of show it to you. Hello, love. My wife has made it on the show. We're talking about Onslaught. It's a tactical miniatures game coming out. So I went through the preview rule book. It's not very complicated. It's the whole rule book is all of 6 pages, big writing, so even blind people like I can see it. See, I mean, and of course, it's got colorful stuff in it, colorful pictures, which I always love. Basically the game, it's a skirmish set. You have characters that belong to a couple of factions. I think the launch. Now this is only a preview kit, so it doesn't have everything in it. I have investigated a little bit, found out, you know, it does come with more miniatures. It comes with the game itself. Is a little bit bigger, real nicer. This just came in like a white box, all right. And it's set in the Forgotten Realms setting, all right. The original set comes with 2 factions in it. There's 4 factions. There's going to be a total of 4 factions. So you've got the Harpers, you've got the Zentarum, you have the Thousand Arrows Orcs, and you have the Red Wizards of Thay. 4 big controlling groups that are part of the Forgotten Realms, major players that have a lot going on in the Forgotten Realms. Sometimes mostly against each other, sometimes in the weirdest way, helping each other out, not even knowingly. But the game, you basically grab, it's got character cards. Let's see, where'd they go? Here we go. Okay, so these are the different various abilities for the characters. And of course, you got the characters are all on these really neat little dials. Let me show you kind of. So this is what the dial looks like. That's what this is a character card. Okay, this is Who is this? There's a warlock, so he's a red wizard of the thing, I would guess. But he has all his abilities here. They have armor classes. It's just kind of like it's like Dungeons and Dragons in a way. You've got armor class, hit points. You gain experience to go up in the as you go through the game, and you have special abilities. So here's your experience dial, which is really neat. And then you've got he has striking curse. Right over here, we've got his movement, which is 3. His armor class is 14, and his life points are 4. His hit points are 4. Okay. He has hellish rebuke as an ability. After you and it explains what it is. He has pack blade and eldritch blast. He criticals on a 20, and it tells you with A, if attacking with A, and it shows you with what. So it's really nice. They got all these neat little dials on them and stuff like that. So it's very cool. Let's see. So that checks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then ta-da! That means you went up a level. Okay, and then over here we got curse. And it has all these neat little dials. And you go around here also. All right. So there you have it. Now, there's 4, as I said, there's 4 factions, you've got the Lightning Dancer, the fighter. You've got Grabble Shanks, the ranger. And you have Rock Piratrix, the clanless, who's a sorcerer. He has Firebolt and Dagger. He's critical. He's Dragon Blood. So opportunity attacks. So they all have different abilities. Combat reflexes for the warrior. And as you play the game, you gain experience. Depending on what you do, if you if you defeat an enemy. Well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but so the characters have 2 types of attacks: melee and ranged. Anytime you roll a 20, there's a critical effect that goes on, and there's a passive effect that's always in play. The battle wheels, basically, as I said, they demonstrate your speed, your armor class, and your hit points. You have cooldown abilities and cooldown dials. You have reaction and cooldown dial, and then bonus experience gain and experience in the experience dial. All right. So for all that, you deal cards out. You grab a character. There's an action phase in which you can move, loot a chest, pick up loot. You can attack. There's ranges that you use. There's a neat little board that comes with it. It's not huge. The game is designed to be played like an hour and a half is what I'm guessing. And no, I have not tried it yet. I wanted to look over the rules and just kind of get an idea of it. But I might come by and do that and check it out sometime and play it. I think I might get myself one of these just to have some fun. There's light of sight. There's different attacks, reactions. You can sit there and be healed. There are monsters. So basically the game is faction versus monsters. So you have a PvP element where the 2 factions are fighting to accomplish, and then the goal, whatever it may be for the board, for the setup for that encounter. And you're also fighting, in this case, it would be the goblins, is what I think what you comes up with. You fight the goblins. The miniatures are just like, let me show you the miniatures. I mean, the miniatures are just like the fully pre-painted ones. Okay. And here they are. All right. There we are. Like I always say, come by the store so that you can see things a lot better, but that's them there. I didn't take them out because that won't help me show them off any better. But there they are. And they look really nice. They're pre-painted. And they look really good. And like I said, once you buy this, you can always, and I was looking online, of course, to sit there and see what the developers said. And they're going to have all kinds of different things coming out for it, different factions, I believe. And they were talking about different monsters and scenario packs, and just the actual starter set comes with, I think he said something like 12. It's quite a few. It's quite a few adventures that you can go on as your characters level up, and then of course you go on to the next one and you re-level back up. But anyway, I think that's really all I'm going to tell you about it, because without playing it, I don't want to get too much into it. It does look like a lot of fun. It's a 2-player game, so it's only 2 factions that are going to be battling it out with the other, which is, I believe, controlled by both, it seems. And so you're kind of playing your faction against them, and the third faction is being played against both of you, by you. So it's kind of crazy. Let's see. Yeah. And that's it in a nutshell. I mean, it's a very simple game, and the phases are easy. It's easy to understand. Like I said, I've not played it yet. I was going to, but haven't had a chance to. I'm going to have to make a chance to play, and then we're going to go from there. So that's that for that. That's that for that. But it's called Onslaught. Here it is. I'll close this up and I'll show you. Onslaught. We got a preview kit here. We can come and play test if you like. And we got one set, so make sure you come in, talk to the gang, and they will help you out with that. Everything you need is here. The little action cards, how to activate your characters. The Goblin Guard. It's set up really easy, simple to play. It looks like it doesn't take a lot. And of course, there's dice, and more dice, because we like dice. What's a game without dice? I love it. Oh man, those 20s everywhere, right? I love it. All right, so this would be a good chance to get the big dice and roll them. That'd be kind of cool, yeah. Get some of these big dice and roll them out there. All you need is a 20, so it'll be a lot of fun using those big old 20s for it. And you get the loot chests and find all kinds of cool stuff. Let me see. There's a couple things here. Let me see what I got here in my hand. All right, so we got a healing potion, an armor of element kind, flame tongue, a potion of fire breath, and invisibility powder. Woohoo! That's fun. Yeah. And then as you go up in levels, you get cool things, school abilities, taunt, horde breaker, draconic resilience, dark one's blessing. So those are just a couple of them. And I'm sure they're going to come out with more and make the game even more elaborate, more sophisticated in a way. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to try and play this as soon as I can. But okay, so talking about making things more elaborate in that. Someone had asked me about, we have so many campaigns going on here at the collective, and somebody had asked me what's up with Spelljammer? Is anybody going to be running a Spelljammer campaign? I said, well, you're always free to start one, and that's kind of what what's leading up. That question is what kind of leading up to what I'm going to go into is, dungeon mastery. A lot of people think it's some mysterious art, and it's not. Especially if you get the starter box. I've never seen anything so easy as being able to open a box, read a couple pages, and be able to run a game from beginning to end. That's actually how easy it is with that. I always suggest, play once. But if you've ever done any kind of role-playing or run any kind of games, tabletop games, or role-playing games, it's easy to open up that box, open up the booklet, read through it, maybe once or twice until you kind of get the hang of it. Practice a little bit, okay, so I describe what's going on. Okay, good. We roll for initiative. We do combat. In combat, we use skills. We use items. We use magic. Creatures are defeated. The party basically gets to explore and grab whatever's on loot the bodies and loot whatever treasure's there. The creatures win. Oops. Reset. Replay. Which can happen. I've told you about that. So, with that in mind, my answer to that is, if you're interested in a Spelljammer, we have copies, I believe, of both still left here. And we have the trilogy of books that came out with it, which is really cool. So if you want to come in and kind of put something together, and I'll give you a little hint. What was it? Oh my gosh, the book that came out before it that has the Citadel in it is an amazing kind of book that you can put together with the Spelljammer, because it all happens. One's on the ethereal plane, the other one's on the astral plane. That's where the Sunless Citadel is, I believe it's called. No, that's the Sunless Citadel. But the Citadel, I showed you the book. The Radiant Citadel, that's what it is. And you can kind of make a whole campaign out of that. And that's it. It'd be an awesome outer space. It could be something that you kind of go there every once in a while. It just depends on how in-depth you want to get with everything. And that's the thing about dungeon mastering. A question, I pile up these questions and I answer them when I have enough relevancy between them so I can explain things. And the thing with the campaigns and, okay, what books do I need to start? If you're going to be a dungeon master and it's your very first time doing it, I said the basic book. If you've been playing for a while and you want to kind of jump into it feet first, you can get a module book, one of the adventure books that take you from first to, I think the highest one is 16th level. Okay. Get yourself the Dungeon Master's book. You already have a player's handbook, obviously, and get a monster manual. Or the wonderful thing about those adventures is most of the monsters are in the book. I like having the monster manual not only as a source of information, but there's always more than one kind of goblin. There's always more than just one kind of orc, and it's really neat to spice it up a little bit. And even it's something as simple as just changing the weapons. Let's say you don't even have miniatures. Who cares? You can use pennies and nickels and dimes or whatever you want to represent the characters and the monsters. Little chits or even the little stones, anything. And you can describe them. Give them instead of a long sword, this guy has a spear. Or a short sword and shield. You can give them a pole arm of some kind. It's all in the player's handbook, so you can switch things around. You can keep things the same, their armor classes, their damage, whatever you need to do to keep it simple. If you just want to use D6s or D8s, depending, but you can describe them with different weapons. You have a list of weapons in your player's handbook. The adventure, if you buy an adventure book, will have all the monsters and all their information and what they're carrying as far as weapons and armor, shields, if they use magic or not. Hey, William Sam Quinn, how are you, sir? Everything is good. How are things with you? It's always good to see you. We're talking about, we were talking about the D&D Onslaught that's coming out, the miniatures, tactical little miniatures skirmish game. Let's put it on this little board here. And now we're kind of talking about the different ways of getting into Dungeon Master and what you need. So that's where we're at with that. I'm under the weather, but marching on. Yes, sir. We must soldier on. Sorry to hear you're under the weather. A little bit of that. What is that? Airborne. Love the Airborne. Anyway. But, so it is pretty neat. With the onset, we were talking about Spelljammer and the Radiant Citadel book and all those books that have come out. So, talking about books, what are we looking at? With 47 Furious Tales or Reign of Ages, what are we looking at? We got any word on that? Insider information, right here on John's Dungeon Corner. I love it. Oh, I just simply love it. But, back to the game mastering. Something else, because Antonio was actually game mastering this Wednesday, and they saw him with all these dice, and they said, "Oh my God, do I need?" It's really neat to have several sets of dice. No, you don't need as many dice as we walk around with to start out with. A box should be there. Yes, round of applause. We love it. A round of applause for William Sam Quinn. Yes. And yes, he is the one who authors both the 47 Furious Tales and Reign of Ages and other things. Yes. But you got to come into the store and check it out. I'm telling you, you got to come to the store. You're missing out. If you're just listening to me, you're missing out on a lot. I give you clues. I'm like the clue giver. And I give you some information, but then you got to come to the store and see these things and see what fits first of all, see what fits your budget. And that's something I was telling them. So back to that, You can start out small. You don't have to start out with everything. Remember, do not become intimidated when you come in here and you see a dungeon master who has a box of books and he's got like 10 hardbacks in there, and he pulls out his dice and he's got like 10 sets of dice and a box of miniatures with like 100 miniatures. That's literally what he did. He pulled out his box of miniatures, dumped it out looking for characters for people to play, and it's like, whoa, that's intimidating. It is. You look at all that and you go, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to get into this. Baby steps, toddler steps, then adolescent steps, teenage years, whatever. Buy the starter set, okay? $20. You can't beat it. I'm telling you. I talk about this constantly. Get the box, play a little bit, buy a couple of miniatures, get a couple monsters, and you slowly. I did not go out and buy my collection of miniatures in one day. It's just not possible. First of all, a lot of the miniatures weren't even available in one day. So I add to it. Let me tell you, I'm a sucker for kobolds, goblins, and orcs. When those guys come out, I'm usually the first one jumping on top of them. I got them. And then we punch each other out and we beat each other up, and then they submit. And they got to jump in the box and join the rest of the gang. But I love those creatures, and you'll get your favorites. It may be bugbears, it may be goblins, it may be kobolds, it may be, lizard men. If you want to go into more of a swamp and jungle settings, those are great to have. And dragons, I have miniatures of dragons that I'll probably not use, but I have them because they're so cool to collect, and I have them up on shelves, and they're just amazing. There's a lot of, you've heard me talk about the dragon tile, the warlock tiles, and got those and the mats. Slowly but surely, you buy, my suggestion, buy a basic mat. You can draw on it, dry erase, wet erase. You'll never have to use anything other than that if you didn't want to, because you can draw the whole dungeon on there. It's 24 by 30 inches. So you got 2 feet by 2.5 feet, and you can just draw it. And there's bigger ones. And if you come and you talk to Brendan, he'll sit there and order. There is a bigger set of that. That's, I think, 30 by 40. It's not quite 4 feet, but it's a bigger map. It opens up wider. I can't remember the exact dimensions, so I'm not going to give them to you. I think it's actually, it's 30 one way. It's the same length as the other, but it's longer. I want to say it's like 40, 42, something like that. It's quite big. But those things, I've had mine forever. You can put miniatures on them. You can put buildings on them. You can draw on them with wet or dry erase. Never with permanent marker. I don't care what they say. I don't recommend putting permanent marker on any of those. And then they're reusable over and over again. Sometimes I'll just draw my rooms one at a time, just so they can fight. I erase it, and then I put the next room. So like I said, one of them, they come with pre-made dungeons. There's taverns. And this is something that you slowly build up. Slowly build up. Maybe once a month you buy a board and you get a couple miniatures. Well, think about it. In 2 months, if you come in, this time I'm going to buy an extra set of dice and a couple miniatures. So you don't break the bank at any one point. It's my birthday. You know what? I really like this D&D stuff, and I really, really want this book. That you come in, you put it on your list. Somebody buys it for you. There's nothing better than getting something you want as a gift. It's a wonderful thing. Okay. And slowly, in the first year, you sit there and you open your eyes and you're like, wow, I've got a nice little collection. Painted, unpainted, however. The miniatures are the miniatures and miniatures. I sometimes have to mix because I haven't gotten around to painting all the unpainted ones. And I've got a bunch of painted ones, so I use those. But sometimes I need more, and I just throw those unpainted ones in there. A kobold is a kobold is a kobold until he hits you. Then you think it's a mean kobold. But that's okay. You get to hit it back if you survive the attack. All right. So that's what I wanted to say about putting together your kind of like your DM materials, okay? Dice, listen, I sometimes will carry, not sometimes, but I carry a little bag that has like 3 or 4 sets of dice in it. In case somebody new wants to come in and jump in your game, they don't have anything. They got nothing, but they're interested. And that's all you need is a little bit of interest. So you put together their character sheet, you let them borrow that set of dice, and they're happy. They join, or 2 sets in case they have to roll 2 D20s. I always try to have extra D20s. And they roll and they have a good time and they laugh and they have a good time, or they don't. And they come back or they don't. But at least you gave them the opportunity. That's what it's all about. You give them the opportunity to experience the game, something they've never tried before, and give them a chance to see if they like it or not. And sometimes you do a great job and it's just not for them because, for whatever reason, it's like everything else. Some people prefer a Toyota over a Honda, over a Ford, over, a Chevy, whatever, personal preference there. Some people love football and some people love soccer, basketball, baseball, volleyball, surfing, whatever. Okay? So just because somebody sits down, that's the other thing I want to talk about. Sometimes people will come and you'll never see them again. You're like, oh my gosh. You know what? They're trying it. They're trying it for the first time. It's like sushi, kind of. You either like it or you don't. You either try it again or you don't. Right? There you go. Maybe they'll go play for a different dungeon master that suits them personality-wise a little better. So don't get discouraged. Set up a game for you and your friends, run it, and listen to your players. They'll kind of guide you along. Some groups are more combat oriented. Like if you come on Wednesday, I'll tell you, if you come on Wednesday, you'll get the perfect yin and yang or black and white or balance of both ends of the spectrum. Okay. Ariana's table is a lot more role playing with some combat. Our table is a lot more combat with some role playing. That's just the way people like it. And you'll see the 2 extremes at both tables. There's a lot more dice rolling because this is getting crazy over here, and you'll hear combat going on. And over here, you'll hear role playing. People role playing their characters with the NPCs, all run by the DM. And hey, there you go. And they might roll dice when they use their skills, or if in whatever case they may get into combat. So preference, once again, a preference thing. Right now, hey, here, a little shout out. We're looking for game masters, okay? And come talk to Brendan, and he will chat with you about it. Wednesday nights, we have between the 2 tables, a couple of our other game masters have either moved away. No, my love, I do not have 1,000 dice. Brendan, do you have 1,000 dice yet?
I have 1,000 dice. They're all out there for sale. You have 2,000 dice. You're right. You don't have 1,000 dice. I look for an exact number. You never have to admit your problem.
I love it. That's what I love about being here. So Brendan said he has 1,000 dice. They're all out there for sale. And there's no problem. I don't have a problem. I don't have a dice problem. What dice? You can never have enough dice. No, I last count I had like over 400 though that I play with that are all purple, by the way. That's just the purple ones. Anyway, so let's get away from that. We're talking about not needing 1,000 dice for Dungeons and Dragons. All right, my wife is scaring everybody away. Oh my gosh. No, you don't need 1,000 dice to play the game. Oh my gosh. What was I saying? So come and talk to Brendan about that. Okay, so real quick, before I forget, November 5th, the first weekend, I believe it's the 5th and 6th of November. It's going to be a crazy time here. We're going to go 24, just more than 24 hours, I think. Isn't it?
33 hours.
It's 33 hours. Open on Saturday to close on Sunday. 33. My favorite number 3. So let me see if I can get the 3. Oh, let me see. I'll put it on here. There we go. 33. Let me bring it up there so you can see it. I got to get blue and purple dice, though. You know me. You know how I am about purple and blue. All right. There it is. 33 hours of gaming. The dice have spoken. We got 33 hours of gaming from 10 o'clock, Saturday the 5th, first Saturday the 5th, I do believe it is the 5th, to Sunday, close of business. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, 33 hours. And what's going to happen in those 33 hours? Well, I'll give you this much. Saturday, there is an auction, and we will have, is it an auction and a raffle, correct?
We're gonna have raffles.
We're gonna have raffles.
For the second.
Okay, so here he comes. Here it comes. Dun, 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 dun. We got Brendan up here.
Hey, so this is
Drum
all
roll.
extra life stuff. So we're going to be doing auctions, but we're mostly going to be playing games all night.
What kind of games?
Oh, we're going to have role playing. You know that board game that takes forever to play, that the store always closes or everybody goes home? That game, you can set it up and you can play it for 6, 10, 20 hours, whatever it takes. You can play Twilight Imperium up here. To play Spartacus. That's a game I've never finished. Never? But I'm hoping to get some good Nemesis games.
Oh.
In addition to that, we're going to have the Orc, which is the Orlando role-playing community. They're going to be here. They're going to be running a lot of things from Pathfinder. They're going to be running Starfinder.
Look at
and then
this.
we're going to have D&D.
Ah,
The big thing
is
is John's Skirmish.
Oh, man.
We did this on a smaller scale, right?
Yeah, we did it on a smaller scale. We
It was
had
a table
18.
maybe this size. We had
Yeah,
4 people there, and it was very small. We're
Yeah.
going to be having, this is going to be it'll be a 6-foot by 12-foot square rectangle that we're going to be playing. All 4 corners coming in. You've got to defend the place, so that's what it's going to be.
That's what we get. See, but in actuality, this all started out as a simple idea. I said, hey, let's try this. We ended up with 18 players,
3
4
people
game
deep,
masters,
everybody trying to roll the dice.
and it was great.
So we're going to do it to a place that we can accommodate. But you're probably going to want to register for some of this stuff, which we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so in the next couple of weeks, going into October, pretty much.
We are going to say.
Yeah, because we have
Thanks
to.
coming out the
Oh,
dungeon
thank
corner.
you. See, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Although he's not really a horse, but he does own the place. So you heard it from him. We're going to have it. It's going to run 33 hours. We're going to do a huge skirmish. Probably be like 4. There'll be at least 4 game masters that day. And it's going to happen. I have not determined the level yet because I'm trying to give an opportunity for all the DM, the Dungeons and Dragons players that are here on Wednesdays to kind of figure out where they're at level-wise when this happens. But it's probably going to be around, last time it was around the 4th or 5th level. So I think I'm going to double it and let you come in with a 10th level character. Dun, dun, dun! 8th to 10th. I think that's going to be the cutoff right there. No higher than 10, no lower than 8. That way you have your... Only my brother. He goes, hope everyone uses deodorant that day. I mean, really? No, because the orc players they can come in all smelly. No, don't do that. I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh. But no, that's going to be a fun day. We will start now. We'll tell you this because of everything going on. We're probably going to start that about 7 o'clock that night. And we're going to run probably till about midnight, 1 o'clock or so. It's probably going to be a 4 to 6 hour battle. Okay. It's going to go fast. It went really well. We did like 10 turns in about an hour. Let me see, 6:30. About an hour and a half or so, an hour and 40 minutes. Everybody got to do 10 turns. That's 180 turns in one evening because we went quick. I had 4 games. There were 4 of us there. I'm going to try to do that again. Maybe get a 5th to kind of help out where it's needed, where we maybe get into a big battle and with some players. So if you got friends that want to come out and just participate, gather your groups together. Try to keep them between 5 to 6 players in that adventure group, maybe 7 at most, because we're going to break you up into different parts of the table and then go forth. It's going to be fun. 33 hours. 33 hours. And at least 4 to 6 of it will be spent playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to call it the Grand Melee. The little background to it is it's where we left off. They're defending a farm that's very important to the village of Greenfield. This farm provides a lot of the meat a lot of the crops, a lot of vegetables in that. And, back in that day, that's a big deal. So the town is trying to send adventurers out to defend it against the Goblin Scourge that wants to take it over and probably turn it into a base of operations for the region. Whoops. So we'll see. All right. So to kind of recap, Christmas is around the corner. Let's start looking at some Christmas lists. Those of you who love Dungeons & Dragons or anything else that has to do with the gaming community, come on by, start filling out your sheets, have them ready so when your friends, loved ones, family come in, they have something to kind of go on. If nothing else, come by, get them a gift certificate. That always works. And look forward to Onslaught. If you want to come by and try it out, it'll be here. I'm going to come by and try it out sometime. And that's about it. That's the wrap up. We're done. Isn't that cool? Ooh, huzzah. Thank you, my love. Yeah, we kind of threw a lot of stuff in there. And listen, anytime you got a question or you just got an opinion or a suggestion for something, johnsdc2021@gmail.com. Whatever you want to say, hey, good show. Hey, I think you should talk about this. I'd like to see more of this. That's what it's there for. And I appreciate everybody who's ever sent anything. I appreciate you because sometimes I'm kind of like, oh. And if I don't get, and let me tell you, thank you, Willie. If for some reason I don't cover you send it in this week or next week, and I don't talk about it, it's probably because of a topic like what I have it tonight that I'm trying to kind of build it up to so I can kind of throw it out there and not just answer one question in 10 minutes, but I can do a show around it. I'm getting better at this. See, I gather up the questions and kind of answer them all at one time. And the wonderful thing about this is you don't even have to watch the show live. You can go back and go, oh, what if he talked about it? Oh, man, he answered my question right there. It's up on the Facebook, I think Twitter, and something else. Goes to show you, I'm not really a social media magnet yet. Soon. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have a good time. Oh, and YouTube. That's what it is, YouTube. It just popped into my head. So thank you for joining me and spending some time with me. YouTube, I believe. Yep. Thank you, Sarah. It is YouTube. And I appreciate your time. So, from John's Dungeon Corner, may the roll rise up to meet your feet, and may all your adventures always be successful. Because, hey, that's when the fun begins. All right. So, until next Friday, I will see you then.